All right, guys, we're going to jump in and look at this match that I shot last weekend. Overall, it was a pretty good match. I was reasonably happy with it. Big takeaways. I didn't shoot quite enough points. Only shot like 84.5% of the points. That needs to be closer to 90 or slightly above. Speed was good on most stages except for my very first stage where I was just way too conservative and got smoked. So without further ado, let's take a look. All right, so just talking about stage strategy. This stage, there were basically three positions. There was a box over here that I took as the second position and a box way over here that I took as the third position with a start position kind of back that way. So we went straight to the beam because this was kind of a precarious position to get into, and you were as close to it as you were going to get, and it actually was the most efficient route through the stage. You actually had the fewest number of steps by going straight to the beam. But my problem on going to the beam is it took about 3 seconds to get off that first shot, whiffed on the first one, knocked it down. Then I was just so slow, never got on the gas. I mean, these are like 50 splits. That's just too long. Just 65s. I mean, just these should be 35s and 40s. It's just I was not feeling it when I got going. So if you actually jump over and look at the scores in practice score, that's me at 63.94%. And it's really my time. My time was abysmal. I have no idea how you run it in 15 seconds, but I can definitely see like a 17, 18 time. I definitely could have come a lot closer to that mark if I had shot it later in the day, but oh well. Now, as far as this stage is concerned, let's not worry about it. It's too much of a novelty stage. I'm not really gonna set my training around a balance beam stage. So next stage, there basically you had to go to this corner. There's some targets you had to shoot from the middle, and then there's basically another corner and another corner over here. Since I'm a right-handed shooter, I went to my left, which is as per always. It's just easier to reload moving left to right rather than right to left as a right-handed shooter. So rather than actually just stepping into the box, standing there and engaging these targets, I decided it was better to shoot them from about right there because I would get a couple few yards and it wasn't going to cost me too much in the way of time. So that was my approach, although either plan was going to be valid. All right, so entering that position, and unfortunately the camera angle is not the best. You can see that I got on that first target by the time I got to the position, my feet were planted, and then I basically shot in on the second target, which is exactly what I want to do. That looks pretty good. Transition was pretty tidy. Let's see that. It's about a 90-degree transition in 0.43, which is not terrible. And a 23 split on about a 4 or 5 yard target, which is a little bit slow, but honestly, it's in the ballpark. Now that you can see the gun is up, I'm coming in on, there's a mini popper about right there that you can't see from this angle. All right, so that was mini popper, and then it was a partial with a head box. So you can see me, I'm aiming on that guy, and then about a 4.5, which is a little bit long, but I needed to make sure I connected and went 1 for 1 on the head box. 0.35 on the split there. Look how low I have to get to leave that position. Look how upright I am shooting in that position. This is something I've been working on, but look at all that time transferring weight. So from here, where it was at 8.83 through, before I actually start moving out of the position, just the amount of time of compressing and then leaving the position is about 8.83 to right about 9.2. So that, I mean, that's an appreciable amount of time. That's a few tenths of a second just in compressing to leave faster. So if I want to really tune up my stage times, I'm going to have to stay lower. Let's see how I do here. I come into position real low. Now I should stay at this height. That would be ideal. But I stand up. You see that? Okay, so that's about a tenth for me to stand up into this position. It would be faster to just kind of enter and stay like right there and just start shooting. but no, I stand all the way up. Need to stay lower. That's something I'll definitely continue to work on. So these are about 20-yard shots, and I'm shooting 5-3 splits in a match. It's 0.61 transitions, pretty sporty. I'm proud of myself. I called the second shot as a delta and made it up. That's what the makeup shot is, although it took me about 0.6 seconds because I was taking my sweet time. And again, look at this. Okay, so fired the shot, heads snapping the next, but we're at 13.9. Compressing. Okay, it's not too bad. It's about 2/10 to leave the position. Magazine falls free, looking good. Magazine seated, gun is up, a little slow. Like the gun should be up and moving to target right now. So that it was a little bit slow coming up onto target. 2-2 split, a 2-9 transition, 2-2 split, oh, good grief, clockwork. And I'm actually proud of this. I was like, if it's a short movement, I need to be shooting between positions because I'm not going to get too much in the way of time. But boom, 1-for-1 on a mini popper at about 10 yards on the move. So I end up shooting in. There's the first shot. And by the time my second foot is into position, I'm on the third target. That was such a beautiful position entry. Let's just watch it in full speed and appreciate it, guys. Here we go. Here we go. All right. 21:45 for a stage time. Let's see how that stacks up. Stage 3. That was 84, so I was 21:38, which is about a second off, and we found about 5/10 of a second just in movement. I think some of that was shooting on the longer range shots, so I think I was getting outshot by my competition. Unfortunately, the guys who beat me, or actually all 4 of the guys here, do not post match videos, so it's going to be tough to say. And you can really, this really tells the tale, because if you look at this number 3 score right here, he was the fastest running in 18:23. He had a mic and a no shoot, and he still was 5% better than me, because I took 3 seconds longer than him, over 3 seconds longer, and he was able to beat me as a result with 20 penalty points. So the hit factor was right around 7, which if you look at the stage winner, that's about the right time. So I was about 1.5 seconds off the pace for this stage. And yeah, I could see that. I think that the movement, tuning up the movement, I could probably get most of a second, and the rest of that's going to be in just how long I'm taking to line up the long distance shots, which is something I need to continue to work on, which is just kind of shooting scared for the most part. All right, this was a fun stage. This was a hoser stage. You can't really tell, but there are 2 barrel stacks, or 2 targets next to a barrel stack down there. They're wide open. There's 2 targets kind of down here. You had to step back into it and then run up range. You had the option of shooting these targets along the way. You had to stop, and there was a gap of 3 targets right there. And then the last position was back here, and you had a whole bunch of targets to shoot at, which the reloads weren't too bad for the low cap guys. The low cap guys actually did pretty good on this stage from what I saw. So there are basically 2 plans. You could take the targets right here through the gap, or you could shoot them back here, but they were presented on a really steep angle, so you didn't have a whole lot to shoot at. And since the targets are big and real close right there, I just opted to kind of roll through the position. Did not do the wide transition onto these targets to pick those up while I stopped, because the shooting was easy enough. It was about 11 yards to this target from the back of the box. So I think it was the most efficient plan for a minor-only division. Let's see. Let's get our numbers here, guys. So a 1-2-1 draw to a 5-yard target. That's a little bit slow, but it was next to a barrel stack, and I didn't want to hit the barrel. So played it a little bit safe, but a 4-4 split is, I mean, that's 0.2 of a second wasted right there. 37 transitions, really slow considering how close that target was. And then an 18 split, that's more like it. 65 wide transition, are you serious? So the easy target's over here. I'm shooting all scared, and then I just absolutely whip it around nearly 180 degrees in 0.65 seconds. That's something I'm proud of. That is well done. 2-3 split, 31 transition. That's a little bit better, although a little slow. And then a 19 split. That's appropriate for about a 4-yard target, which is what we're talking about. And then we're running up range, pumping arms, running athletically, hands getting close to the gun, not breaking the 180. And then I'll just show you this position. This was done pretty well. Feet stay in motion. So you know all that talk about compressing and all that kind of stuff. So it took like 2 tenths to exit a position, whereas here I'm still gaining ground. And then, I mean, that's pretty well done, and with the load. That was done pretty tidy, although I know I got smoked on this one again. I was about a second off the pace again. 1.5 seconds off the pace, it looks like. I mean, look at this. The stage winner, because he was 1.5 seconds off the pace, he put up a bunch of alphas, but he had a mic and he still won the stage, which is ridiculous. This guy right here who won the stage is a limited GM who switched to carry optics recently. The guy at the very top who won carry optics for the match is a master in production, although he's pretty stout. And then number 4, you see here, he is a GM in production. So all of a sudden the field in the DFW got super stacked in carry optics. So I'm really excited to have some guys to go head to head with. All right, stage 5. This is a fun stage, and it looks like I went really, really fast, and I did go really, really fast. So fast, I think I had 4 mics on this stage. Look at me. Yeah, burn it down, buddy. Yeah, just ripping it. Yeah. So this was a fixed time stage. You had 5 seconds to shoot all these targets. And I basically was shooting to a cadence and not shooting at the speed of sight. And as a result, I was ripping all kinds of mics. I think I connected on everything in the first position. All those were good. But when you actually get to this wide transition, I just was trying to get out of that position so fast and start shooting as I went into the next position. It looks really good, but holy cow, I did not do well. And I think the winning strategy for me would have been, just because I don't move around quite as good as the guys I'm up against, would have been to bid on a plan that engaged 8 or 9 targets. Like, okay, so this target was a hard lean. In this position, I should have taken this guy, this guy, this guy, and this guy, and then just left the position and ignored this target. And then came around to the next position. I think this was the right play to start shooting on the position, although I probably should have held off a 1/10 of a second or so longer and gotten the hits. I actually did a great job seeing my dot lift off about right there in between the targets and realized I needed to make it up on this guy. I think this was the only guy I connected on this whole array. Maybe this guy and this guy. I think that might be it. I don't think I even tried the last target. I fired at 10 of the targets out of 11. So it was a really fun stage. I would love to try it again, and I might set it up and try and practice it when I can. But that was a really fun stage. You can see that I just absolutely got waylaid in the stage. It was a really low point stage, only worth about 9.1% of the match points. But even still, I was able to collect 26 points, and the stage winner was able to get 50. And if you look at his, I connected on 6 of the 10 targets that I shot at. And the stage winner was able to pick up 10 of the 11 targets. So I think 9 or 10 shooting as many of the points as you could get would have been the way to do it. What's probably more impressive is that the guy who won the match actually got hits on all 11 targets. Like, he's a stud. He's on the next level. All right, Paper Poppers is the classifier. I shot a 79% as far as the national classification is concerned. And my big issue was that I did not, connect on all of the steel shots. The missed steel is really kind of the problem. I think I whiffed on the draw. Is that right? Yep. A lot of people drew to the paper. I just wanted to draw to the steel for whatever reason. I felt like it was lower risk to reload onto the paper because I would definitely connect on paper as opposed to whiffing on a piece of steel if I rushed it. But all in all, it was not greatly done and needed high hit factors less than 5 seconds in all the points. I was like 5, 6, 8. Let's see how it stood up on the match. So the guy who actually won the stage is a GM, and he shot a 98.99%. You can see my 79% there. It's a pretty strong field. If the lowest score is a 71, that's a pretty good competition to be running against. Here's my match win for the day. Last stage. So if you're designing stages, you need to look at it through the lens of a high cap shooter. The guy who designed this is a production shooter. In his mind, you're going to have to like move all around this box. Well, you only had to stand right here and right here to see all the targets. So that's what I did. There was a waiver that would come out, and you can't see, unfortunately, on this camera angle, that would come out, and they stapled up no-shoots on either side to make it kind of higher risk. But the no-shoots bottomed out on the ground and made the waiver slow down really fast. So if you hit the stomp pad and activated it, you could ignore the waiver, and when you got to this position, you could shoot it like a static target, which is exactly what I did. And as far as the actual score is concerned, my stage 1. So there you go. I shot it the fastest. My points weren't great because because it seemed like a stage that speed was going to help, and speed did help. If I had really connected with some more points, that would have probably been even better. But you can see that I was a full 1.5 seconds faster than the number 2 guy on this stage. So I knocked it out of the park on this and needed to be doing this all day. There's a target stack, shot into position there, whiffed on the steel, had to do a makeup. Pretty good shooting, not bad. Not bad. Well, that was the match, guys. So I definitely need to get low and stay low. That's going to be the focus the next week for the next 2 weeks while I get ready for the first major of the season. As always, appreciate you guys, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care, guys.